All right, moving on. Our Masters of Spin this morning, a bit of advertising nostalgia. It's all come about because of a play on words from one of the most successful ad campaigns of the 1970s. Perhaps you'll remember this.
Spuds in their jackets, corn on the cob, meadow leaf, plenty of. You ought to be congratulated.
So, why is it in the news? Because some bright spark thought congratulated rhymed well with vaccinated and wrote this.
Wouldn't you like to see your family living life the way it used to be? Give your mama a hug, do the things you love. You ought to be vaccinated.
Our Masters of Spin this morning are advertising and marketing experts Matthew Bywater and Dee Madigan. Matthew, if you didn't know the Meadow Lee ad, you probably wouldn't be as impressed with "you ought to be vaccinated." What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I love it. I think it's fantastic. You know, we've moved into an age where it's more singles over jingles, where everyone seems to want to take a shortcut and leveraging the fame of celebrities and songs at work. But there is something unique about when you create something you're on your own, get your own IP around it, you actually have something that lasts a much longer time. And the rhyming thing, it's called about processing fluency. And not only does it help us remember it, it actually sounds more true. And it's very well backed by research around this.
Yeah, anyone that remembers this 45 years ago, Dee, would still remember that jingle. Have jingles gone by the wayside?
Yeah, so what happened was they were seen as being very 1980s. So creatives in the 90s and 2000s didn't want to work on them, didn't want to do jingles because they didn't win awards for them. So it's not that they ever stopped working, it's that creatives stopped doing them, which is, I think, a pity.
Well, for Meadow Lee, it had an enormous effect on sales. So clearly it works. It is funny looking back at the old stuff where it's just those stereotypes of, you know, the woman's the one in the kitchen, all those things.
Yeah, being congratulated for buying margarine would today not go over.
Putting some on a spud. Exactly.
They are the most memorable, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They get stuck in your head and you remember it all those years later.
And it's the original guy that did the original song that's done it again now. I think he's in his 80s. The voice is still there. All right, now let's look at another vaccine-related promotion. These ads are from Virgin. In one of them, a guy is remembering what it's like to take your suitcase on the travelator, and another, a woman is flailing around as she thinks that she's in an airline seat. You're a big fan of these?
Yeah, look, I am. And so I think these are very on brand for Virgin. They're different to the Qantas ones. They're not these big budget, big emotive things. They're quirky and unusual, and that suits a challenger brand. So I really like these. I think they're spot on brand.
Matthew, we showed you the new Qantas ad a couple of weeks ago in comparison. It's a bit of a tearjerker, trying to make that emotional connection. Having a laugh at Virgin's expense, is that what's happening here?
Yeah, and I actually really like the Qantas ad. I take what Dee says about the Virgin ad. I think it is on brand. I question the fact that they use something that's been a Facebook meme for well over a year now. To me, it looks a little bit generic. I can imagine a younger generation person saying, "Okay, boomer," like we've already been there.
Yeah, right.
So
okay.
I get where they're trying to go with it. I just don't like the execution of it. But Qantas, they still get it for me as far as getting the emotional attachment.
I know, they nailed that, didn't they? Okay, looking at Telstra now, they've used a conspiracy theory about 5G phones. Let's have a look.
Truth is, the chances of turning into a one-person 5G tower from getting a vaccine are zero. The chances of getting a post-vaccine chuppa-chup, however, extremely high. Right, 5G expert Mike Wood?
Right, Mark. Only these towers will connect you to 5G.
Dee, actually naming it and naming that conspiracy theory, is that a clever move?
It is a fantastic strategy let down by fairly poor writing. It's just not as funny as it should be.
Yeah. The opportunity was right there, wasn't it?
Addressing it head on, it's a clever idea but poor execution.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there you go. They've agreed.
They agree.
Short, sharp, to the
that
point.
happens. We're expecting a lot more. All right, gang. Thanks.
It's rare that we get such succinct agreement on this show, but we'll take it.
Amazing. That's it. So.
Every now and then.
Yeah, it still hasn't happened for us. Ahead.